Hey guys, Plant Doctor here. What we're doing today, excuse me, we're growing Hosta from seed. I collected these seeds off of a humpback whale Hosta. So humpback whale is a cultivar of Hosta that gets extremely large. I was excited. I was able to collect, looks like a little over a dozen seeds here. I'll show you what these seeds look like. That's actually just the pod part. Let me pull one out here. They're very delicate seeds, so when you're doing this, you need to be extremely careful because Hosta is a tough plant, right? But these seeds, they are, even though they're kind of large, let me get that piece of chaff out. You can see there's 3 of them there. Even though they're kind of large, they're very delicate. You can break these pretty easy. Okay, so be careful with these. If you've been watching some of the seed series that I've been doing, how to grow perennials from seed, I've been using big Jiffy trays. What I'm using today are just little 4-inch pots, mainly because I don't have hundreds of seeds that I have collected for Hosta. And that might be something I do more in future years, but this year I just collected echinaceas and black-eyed Susans and a little bit of butterfly bush and some other things. I may focus on Hosta in other years, but I do have enough to make a video. So I collected these seeds around November, and basically the seed pod, those were flowers at one point. You still see some seeds connected on there. So I just took a pair of hand pruners, cut that off, and just stored it in a Ziploc bag. So that Ziploc bag has been in the refrigerator for about 60 days now. Like with most perennials, they're going to require a chilling requirement in order to germinate. Some of them will germinate without a chilling requirement. Some will germinate without a chilling requirement, but the percentage that you have germinate would be less. Most of them, if you can stick them in the refrigerator for 60 to 90 days, put them in the crisper at between 35 and 45 degrees. Don't put them in the freezer. You want that just above freezing range is what we're after. If you can put them in there, you're going to have way better success with the germination of your Hosta seeds. Okay, so what I have here, and this could work for anything that you want to do low scale. Like I said, there's other videos I've done several hundred seeds, but if you just want to do like half a dozen seeds, this is the way to go. So I have some 4-inch pots, and this is filled up with the Jiffy Natural and Organic Young Plant Mix. We're not concerned really about soil nutrition right now. Everything that the plant needs to get started from a seed is in the seed itself. So there's something called endosperm in these seeds, and endosperm is just a fancy word for plant food, okay? And once these get up maybe an inch or two, I would be worried about nutrition, getting some nitrogen, some phosphorus, some potassium to them. But for right now, what we're after is soil texture. We want something that's light, that's loamy, that's going to allow air to move through it, but also retain some water. And you can see here, this is nothing but peat moss and vermiculite and some perlite maybe. And there may be just the tiniest little pieces of pine bark. Like, that's probably the biggest piece of pine bark I've ever seen in one of these bags. So maybe very, very small shredded pine bark in there too. No big chunk pine bark is in this stuff. This is light and airy media, potting mix. So all I'm going to do today is I'm going to take maybe 5 seeds out of this. I've got maybe 2 dozen in there. And I'm going to divide each one of these pots up into more or less fifths. So imagine that we took that circle right there and cut it up like a pizza and had little triangles going around and divided it up into fifths. So I'm going to put 1 seed in each fifth of that circle. And I'm putting the seeds around the outer edge. I'm not putting them all in the middle. So I put a seed like here, 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 and here, right up on the lip. Why am I doing that? I can grow, if all of them germinate, I'll have 5 little hostas in there. And when they get maybe an inch tall, if I'm very careful, I can pull them out. Don't rip them off from the roots. We want the roots. If you're very careful, you can wiggle those out of the media and put them in their own individual pots. This is just a method of condensing down. I could do 10 of these pots and put 1 seed in each pot. So what I'm going to do, if they all germinate, I'll very slowly pull each one of them out with the root and plant them in their own individual pots. Okay, so I'm going to move this one aside right now. We're just going to do 1 pot on the camera. So there's 5 seeds in here. So what I've done off camera, I've made up some of what I call my seed solution. And all this is it's 10 parts water and then 1 part hydrogen peroxide. So for example, I mixed up 20 ounces or 22 ounces of this earlier. So I put 20 ounces of water in my measuring cup. You see here, this cup measures ounces. And then put 2 ounces of peroxide in with it. And then once I had it in my measuring cup, I just poured it off in my spray bottle. So what I'm going to do is spray this down. So why the peroxide in the water? Seeds need 2 things to germinate. They need water, they need oxygen. So this right here is H2O2. So when you spray this in there, once the peroxide comes in contact with the plant media, what it's going to do is bubble out. So you're losing an oxygen. That peroxide becomes oxygen in water. Okay, so we're getting oxygen in and around our seeds, and we're getting that moisture that we need as well. I'm going to wrap these in plastic. All right, so you can get some of this Glad wrap anywhere, the grocery store, Walmart, it doesn't matter. So I've got a little section here. I'm going to cover that up. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, just to hold it in place, I've got a little rubber band. I'll put a rubber band around it like that. And I'm going to water this from the bottom up. So I'm going to fill this with water. I'm going to place my pot in here, and the water will wick from the bottom up to the top. Okay, what I'm looking for is this. I want to see condensation on this plastic wrap. If I'm not seeing condensation, it's too dry. Okay, so make sure you're seeing condensation on this. It's not a bad idea to take a toothpick and poke maybe 3 holes in this, so you're getting some air moving in and out, because we do want some of that oxygen coming in and out of this. Okay, so take a toothpick and poke 2 or 3 holes in here, and then just make sure you keep this filled with water, and that water will wick up. And what I expect to see is we're going to see the cotyledons. So the cotyledons are the first 2 leaves that come out of the seed. We'll see those probably in about 14 to 21 days, if I had to guess. I'm going to put this in a south-facing window. We want to keep this warm. Don't put it outside this time of year. I'm doing this in January. Okay, keep it warm. Put it up in a windowsill. If you can put it in a south-facing windowsill, that's better. It gets that morning or afternoon sun, and it'll warm it up in there and keep it nice and toasty. And here in a few weeks, we'll have some hostas. Guys, thanks for watching The Plant Doctor. As always, we do appreciate all the likes and you guys sharing and subbing our content. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, put them down below. I do my best to ask the questions that you put in there. So thanks a lot. Until next time, this is The Plant Doctor.